All right, I think we have everybody logged in here and ready to start. So I'll just kind of start from scratch. My name is Shancy. I'm the Business Relationship Manager with HomeGauge, and it is my pleasure to be hosting this webinar with you today on how to create a sample report. Those of you who've just logged in, I sent a chat link to everybody regarding the HomeGauge Together virtual conference that we're hosting on the 23rd. So if you'd like to register, it's free. We'd love to have you. And there's some educational opportunities and lots of interesting stuff going on. So if you're interested, just click on that link. I am going to share my screen here so you all can see my software. And we're going to sort of I guess I'm going to kind of talk about why you would need a sample report and why it's important that you actually use a real report. I'm going to say that it is not terribly uncommon for me to look at someone's website and they have a sample report, which really doesn't look like a real report. It looks like they filled out some stuff, threw a few pictures in maybe. It almost just looks like the structure of the template. And if I were a customer, I personally would not find that to be very helpful. So when we're talking about selecting a report, I really think finding something that you've already done that is a good example of your work. I mean, we don't want the foreclosure that looks like the scariest thing that ever happened, clearly. Maybe something that you found interesting, like maybe you discovered something that was kind of, wow, I never had run across something like that before. But for the most part, it needs to be a good example of your work, and you want it to show like the best features of what you can offer. So HomeGauge users, I mean, obviously, if you're uploading your report, you have opportunities to show things like video or 360 pictures. All of the pictures uploaded are expandable pictures. So when someone looks at that on your website, when they click on those pictures, they're going to expand. And so they can really get a look at what they're going to be receiving. And if you haven't been incorporating those features into your report, it's not a huge deal, but maybe consider that if you wanted to throw a few 360 pictures in and see what kind of impact it makes. You want to be able to give the most that you can. Typically, those are complimentary photos that people do 360 photos with. So yeah, so you want to pick some. You don't want it to be too long. You know, something that's reasonable in length. But if it's good and you feel like it's a little long, you could always exclude a few things out. I mean, it doesn't have to be every single thing. So where we start is a report on your computer. I will say, I mentioned earlier, this is not likely to take an entire hour, although unless you have a lot of questions, and I'm happy to talk for an hour. Because it's not too difficult to do this. But so there's just a couple of steps. If you have a report on your computer that you would like to use, we can use that one. And what we're going to do is take a couple of steps, because obviously we don't want to modify the original report. And then if you don't have it on your computer and you upload your reports to HomeGauge, you can simply go to your dashboard and download that report. And if is anyone in that situation where they think they have a report, but it's probably something that might not be on their computer, I'm going to send you all a link on how to download a report from your dashboard. It's not hard. Let's see, here it is. I'm just going to send this link to you in chat. And that way, if you wanted to browse the reports that are already on your dashboard, maybe you find one that you would really prefer, and you can always download that and go through the steps that we're about to go through. This is support.homegauge.com, and that is our support page. You can always go there and type in some keywords and pretty much find out how to do anything with our software. So that's how to pull down a report from the dashboard, which is what I had to do because I don't write a lot of reports, and my software had like 3 really pathetic reports that I used for training. So the first thing I'm going to do here to get started is I'm going to open a report. So I'm going to come over here to open in my software. So here I am, I'm in the software where I built a report. Open, and as you can see, I don't have a lot of reports, but this is the one I want to use. And I'm not going to change this report. I'm not going to do anything to it. I need to copy it. So in case you didn't know, there's a few things you can do with reports here in this open report screen. And a lot of these features live right here under this gear. So I'm going to click on that. And I need to create a copy of the selected report. We have some other things here that if you had some blank reports or some other features here, you could use them. But right now what I want is an exact copy of this report so that I can leave the original untouched and I can modify a copy to suit my needs to create a sample. So when I click this, it's saying, okay, are you sure you want to make a copy of the report? Why, yes, I do. And now you can see I have 2 of these. I typically just pick the top one, okay? Actually, it might even tell you. Yeah, they'll both say yes. I'm going to pick the top one and I will open it. And here's my report. It's just like I did that the day that I created it, right? Someone's got a question. Is anyone else having trouble hearing me? I'm having someone telling me that they cannot hear. They see the screen, unable to get audio. Aaron, can you confirm that you can still hear me since you verified that for me earlier? Let me see. Okay, give me a second. One second, let me see if I can. Thank you, Aaron. Let's see, I'm going to try to troubleshoot for this guy. All right. I'm just going to kind of keep going. Hopefully he can work that out. So I've opened the report. And what's really important, there's a couple things we want to consider here. Obviously, this report belongs to somebody else, right? Belongs to the customer. They paid you for it. So we want to make some modifications to it, because if we don't, we could be giving out someone's personal information and that type of thing. So the very first thing I recommend doing when you copy a report and you're creating a sample report is to get rid of this original customer. So right now we have this sample, the Danica sample. This is one of Russell's people that he pretends to use. So we have our information here. We don't want this here, because in theory, there would be a username and everything here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button at the top right that says Add Customer. And when I do that, it is going to add a tab with a blank customer screen so that I can fill it out from scratch. So I'm clicking Add Customer, and now you can see I have 2. I have Danica, and I have this blank one that I have to populate. Someone's. Okay, this gentleman is having a little trouble. Okay. All right, so now that I've created this second tab, I have this first tab I need to get rid of. So I'm on the original customer. I'm going to delete this customer. I don't want there to be any chance that this customer is going to be on this report. Yes, I'm sure I want to remove it. And now I have a nice blank customer screen. I'm going to mute you all and see if I can help this guy for just a minute. I do apologize. Hold on. No, I'm afraid I'm not having any luck with that. Okay, so unfortunately, it's just me. I don't have someone helping me because of our whole working from home situation. So I'm unable to assist him in getting his sound set up. So now I have a fresh page, and I'm just going to type in whatever name that I want to show up on the report. Okay, Mary customer. We don't have to put anything else here because we're not going to create a username for her. We're not doing anything like that, okay? The other thing that I think is important to change, so now we have no trace of the original customer. On report information, I like to change the report ID. If you have one, if there's not one there, I still would put like sample report and then maybe the date. So you know when you look at it uploaded, when you created it. So let's see, 2020. Oh, it's 4/14 on 4/14 just now. I just looked at that on my time. Okay, so just something here that we can, and then of course, if you wanted to change the date, and none of that stuff matters, you would probably even want to change the property address to whatever you think. It could be sample road, it can be whatever. Just change a couple of things so that it's not a real address, okay? All that information needs to be changed. I think it should be changed. You could just write anything you want in there, but the other thing, typically you would, let's see. The other thing you want to change is down here, real estate professionals. Most of you incorporate agents here. And if you have an agent here, you just want to remove them. You would just highlight it and click remove because we don't want them to be on there either. This is just a pretend report. And I also think changing the cover page is probably a good idea. That way, like, it's not blatantly obvious what it is. I'm going to leave this one here, but obviously you can left click and remove the picture, delete the picture, and then you can pull another photo in there. And it could be, you know, a picture of your own house or any other house, but I think changing the changing that picture is important. Okay, so you want to make sure you change the customer's information, remove that customer's information and put something fake in there. You want to get rid of the agent, update the report ID, change the address, and I would encourage you to change the cover page. And the other thing you can do, depending on how long the report is, if you wanted to, you could eliminate some of these components. Like maybe this house has a home tour. I don't know that I really necessarily need that, but let me see if that one has the information in there. It does. So if you do include a home tour and you want to show that to your customers that you offer that, you can do it. If there was extra stuff in here, maybe there were 2 garages, you could eliminate 1 garage. You know, something that kind of controls the length of it, that's not so bad. Or even like within the component, if you feel like there's some things you can exclude, that you can do that. But you don't want to take anything out that might be interesting to them. Okay, so that's really kind of up to you. If you want to exclude an entire section, you would click on the word components and you'd come over here and exclude whatever you'd like. So once you decide what you've got and you've changed your pictures and you've done all that type of thing, then you're like, okay, I'm ready. I need to distribute the report. Let's have a look at this report really quickly. And I know this is a sample report. So if I go to upload, it's telling me that all the questions haven't been answered. This is a sample report for me. My feeling is if you're distributing a report and you want to use it as example, or especially if you're doing a real report, you don't want to get this message. If you're getting this message, it means that there's something blank in your report. There's some omitted information based on what we expect. And unless you've made some very unique changes to your template, you should never see this. So I'm going to click yes to continue. And I don't need to create a username for Mary Customer because I'm not actually going to send the report the way I normally do. And here is my full report for upload. So let's have a look at that. Open this up. This is just my fake logo. Now, once we get this to the dashboard, all of these pictures will be interactive. So this is a 360 photo of the cover page picture. And obviously all these other pictures will expand. So you can kind of look through. We want to show how you can pull out some of these deficiencies where you can expand where the deficiency is actually found. And you look through, make sure it looks good for you. Obviously your style sheet might be different if you have a custom cover page, anything like that. So you'll just kind of go through, and if you think that's good, that's fine. If you feel like that's too long, you can go back and exclude. So does anyone have any questions about this? Because literally this isn't going to take much longer. I'm going to upload it in just a few minutes, and just a minute, and show you how to make it public. I'm going to click upload here at the bottom, just like I would if I were distributing a report. But the only difference here is when it gets to the dashboard, I don't have to send notifications. There's no one for me to send notifications to because I haven't created a usernames or anything. So it's uploading. Our webinar is taking up a little bit of bandwidth here. And yes, I want to go to my dashboard. It's already uploaded to the dashboard right now, but in order for me to take a couple of steps in order to make it available so I can get a link and put it on my website, then I can get it from there. So I'm going to say yes, and it's going to open my browser. Whoops. Let me log out of this other account because that's how I am right now. And let me try that one more time. It's because I'm always logged in with so many different accounts, trying to always prepare. There we go. So here I am at my dashboard, and here's the report, right? We don't have any customers. It doesn't really look like what we typically see. Now let's have a look at that report before we do anything else. I'm going to click on View Document right here. And here's my report. Well, now I can click on this cover page picture and I can expand that. And here's a nice 360 picture of the front of the house. Now, not everyone only puts a 360 picture on the cover, but it might be nice to have like a standard picture and a 360 picture, or whichever. So when someone sees this report, like if your customer originally saw this report, this is the experience that they would have. And then also to be able to show that you offer this type of feature. Here's our interactive table of contents. And as you come through, obviously, so this is what whoever is looking at your sample report, this is what they would experience. Here's a photograph, and this is just, in case some of you have never done this, I don't know, but if you hover your mouse over any photo in an uploaded HTML report, you'll see this magnifying glass. And when you click on it, there you go. You have this larger copy of the photo. So this is important because and I only say this as a side note, some inspectors put these extra large photos in their report, and it's helpful when they're looking at it from this screen. But what if they want to print that report? That's really, really long. So I think having a medium picture is perfectly fine because they have this opportunity when they view the report to expand those pictures. And here we have one of these. This has got like that little magnifying tool that we have in the picture editor, so we can see this deficiency better, even though I really don't see a deficiency there, but it's just pretend. And all I have to do is click outside of that image that's been expanded, and it will then go back to the report. So now they can just kind of scroll through here, right? Obviously they have this little kick out table of contents. I'm going to click on the home tour so we can get down there. And here's a bunch of 360 photos. This is a very popular, there's a couple ways you can do this. If this is something you're interested in or you're already featuring 360 photos in your report, this is done with a section called home tour. And these are all the 360 photos. I'm just going to click on a couple so you can see. I'm going to expand that. I find this to be really interesting. This is a nice courtesy picture. You can even see the ceiling. You can see it's really amazing. It's really amazing. So it's a nice feature, especially for now. I mean, considering what we're doing right now in a regular report, considering the COVID-19 situation, if the customer can't be there, this is a really nice addition if you're in a state that finds that inspectors are essential. So these are really kind of nice. Let's do another one here. And this is what they would see. I think this is a great offer. It's great to have it in your report, on a sample report especially. Really, really nice. Someone's asking me a question. Okay, so if you want to use a 360 photo, this is the question is, I don't have that option. Where can I find it? Okay, so you can just create a home tour. I can show you how to do that in just a minute, how to add that section to your report. Now, keep in mind, if you want to add 360 photos, you need to have a 360-degree camera. Sometimes HomeGauge gives those away. You can buy them for, I want to say, around just under $200 on Amazon. They're kind of funny. They look like maybe a remote control, like almost like a smart TV remote control, or like an Amazon control, and it has two lenses, and it really does take a picture of the entire thing. But I'll show you how to add that component here in just a minute to add a home tour. Okay, thanks for that question, Scarlett. So this is a really nice tool. And then, of course, there's the summary. Okay, and so anything that went to the summary will be here. Get another question. Oh, no worries. All right, so we look at our report, we're like, yeah, this looks fantastic. I think this is gonna be like an awesome marketing tool. What I need to do now, though, is I need to be able to share that link without having somebody have to sign in, okay? So I'm gonna return to reports, and it brings me back to my report page. And if you've never explored these little tabs here, you might want to do that. But currently, if you click on viewing, there is an option here to make public. When you make a report public, that means anybody who has the link can view it, okay? This was really created for people who wanted to do sample reports. On occasion, in an emergency, someone might use this to distribute a report, but just keep in mind, as long as it's public, anybody can see that report. And if someone hasn't paid or anything, I just don't want you to get all loosey-goosey with the make public feature. It's great for this. I just would want you to pay attention. So I'm going to click on Make Public. So I'm under the Viewing tab, Make Public. It brings me to this, and this URL right here, that is the link that they will use to access the report. So I would say to highlight this and copy it, put it on, put it on one of your little sticky notes. I don't know if you can see at the bottom of my screen, I got my sticky notes that I put all this stuff on, or stick it in an email and send it to the person who manages your website. If that's HomeGauge, they could do this in like lickety split, no time at all. If you've got like a webmaster or someone who built your site, or if you did it yourself, you just go to your website. You have you create a page, or you create a location that says sample report, and you just put that link there. And I wouldn't put this link there. I'd make a hyperlink. It would say sample report, and you highlight it and you make the little link active. If someone doesn't know how to do that, I'm happy to show you how to do that. So anyway, I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to copy it. I used my keystrokes to copy that, which is Control-C, but I'm going to copy here just to show you. And then I'm going to say yes. And when I click yes, we're going to go back to the report list, and we're going to see this is a public report right here. I don't need any usernames. I don't need anything. And now I have this link, and I'm just going to open another browser just to show you. So I'm going to open my Firefox browser. So I'm currently in Chrome. So this is always nice to be able to, what is someone going to experience when they get that link? Pull this over here. So this is my Firefox. I'm always using a gazillion. And I'm going to paste Control-V. I'm going to paste that report URL in the browser address bar at the very top and hit enter. And there's the report. So anybody who has this can view it that way. Okay, does anyone have any questions about how to do that? And does everybody know? I mean, I don't know how well I could explain it. I suppose I could. It's really simple to create a hyperlink of something. So nobody wants to see a really ridiculous long URL address. Ours aren't that long for the reports, but this is just a good thing to know anyway. If you just have a word in your email or on your web page, whatever it is, you highlight the sentence or the words that you want. It could be click here, and you highlight that. And usually in the box that you're writing text, you're going to see a little icon at the top of the text box that looks like a chain link. So you click on that, and then you would paste your URL in there and click OK, and it makes the words that you highlighted a hyperlink. And this is really handy in emails and everything, because nobody wants to see lines and lines of a URL code, right? So that is how you copy a report, make the modifications that you need to make in order to make it appropriate. I've even had some inspectors go to the extent of saying, asking the client if they can use the report as a sample, even though they are changing information. It really is up to you. I think as long as their information's not there and you change maybe that cover page and the address, I think you're probably all right. And then how to upload it, review it, make it public, and then you would use that link on your website or wherever you'd like to. You could even sign your emails with it and people can look at it. So now I'm going to quickly show you how to create that home tour component, which was a very good question. I'm going to minimize this. Actually, I'll close that out. We're back in the software. I'm just going to open my template from scratch here. This is a little bonus for you guys. Select a report template. I'm just going to use this systems right here, which is just a standard template, right? If I want to add something to this list over here, like a home tour, I'm going to click on the word components on the left-hand side. And in order to add something to this list, I need to use my template modifying tools up here at the top right. And I'm going to use add T, okay, because I need to add a component. And add T. I'm just going to call this home tour, or whatever you want to call it, photo tour, whatever. And I will click OK, and there it is. And my Save T button lit up over here because I made a template change. I need to click that right now. We don't wait. In case you've never watched my template modification, the best practices for templates, you should watch that. So I've created this, and it's over here now, but we need something else for this to function properly. We need an inspection item. If you're going to pull pictures in here like 360 photos, in order for that to actually show up in the report, you need to add an inspection item. So there's two things here that I would tell you to do. Number one, add an inspection item. We're going to use the Add T button again at the top of the screen, and I'm just going to call this 360 photos. Okay, I will click OK, and now I have it, right? My Save T button lit up. I'm going to click that again. There's one more thing I think you should do here. This is not a typical inspection item that you have in a report. This is, it's a courtesy. It's a courtesy, right? We don't need inspected, not inspected, repair. We don't need any of this. And if you don't take it out, it's going to show up in your report. So we've just created this. We're not writing a real report. So making a modification to column headers is, I always say, don't make those changes when you're in the middle of a real report. Just do it when you're making the template changes. But I'm going to get rid of all of these except for exclude. And it's only going to be for this section. It's not going to remove them from the rest of the template. I feel like I'm doing a magic trick. Look over here. So at the top of the screen here, we have template, right? We have a whole bunch of choices here. And the very first option is edit column headers. I'm going to reiterate, you do not do this in a report that you have started to write if you in a section that was already created, okay? Because you will be unhappy. Just take my word for it. Edit column headers, and it's going to say, do you want to edit the default column headers for all sections or just to this section? I just want it for this section. I need my inspected, not inspected stuff in all my other sections. So I just need it for this section. Warning, it thinks I've been writing a report. It doesn't want me to lose any information, but I'm in an area I just created. And here we are. So I need to get rid of these column headers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click under each one individually. I'll click under this one and it's going to turn blue, and then I'm going to delete that column. And I will do each one that way, one at a time, and delete the columns. This is a template change. I don't need inspected. Yes, I'm sure. I don't need not inspected. This section is a strictly courtesy. Now, some people take those 360 photos and they just put them in the overview section. And it just shows up at the beginning of each area, of each section, like roofing exterior. You do not delete the exclude column, because what if you didn't do a home tour? You know, you want to be able to exclude that section. If you remove that, you just need to leave that there. And now all I need is to click OK at the bottom. And when I do that, it's going to say, hey, you sure? All right, this could change the meaning of your report. Yes, I'm sure. And now I've made a template change, save T at the top right. And now I have my home tour section. If I want to bring some pictures in to that, I don't know if I have any 360 pictures in this film strip here. Oh, I do. So I don't know if this will work because I've been messing with these pictures. No, it won't. Let me see. Is it actually in there? Yeah, I'm sorry. These pictures are probably like, oh wait, that one might go. There we go. I'm always messing with those. Click OK. And now I have a 360 photo in there. And I can itemize them if I wanted to, but really, if you wanted to say like living room, dining room, you could put picture labels, anything like that. So that is how you add a home tour section to your report. That's how you create a sample report. Does anyone have any questions for me? And I know we've got some time. I don't mind answering like other questions. This was a pretty simple, short webinar. Typically, I'm infamous for going over by like 15 minutes, over an hour every single time, because I'm very chatty. But if you have any questions, I'm absolutely happy to answer them. But yeah, that's pretty much it, folks. I hope everybody is staying safe, and I hope you all can attend our HomeGauge Together event and next, not this Thursday, next Thursday. I'll be doing a couple of classes. We'll have some really interesting folks we've got someone doing stucco and synthetic stucco. We've got someone doing a sewer scope. I'm going to have someone doing a talk on chimney inspections. So I think it's going to be pretty good. And plus, obviously, we'll have some prizes to give out, because that's always fun. And because we really want to be able to connect with you guys, even though it's been this is a trying time, and we miss you all. So, all right, I'm going to trust that nobody has questions then. It has been my absolute pleasure to show this to you today. I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to have this posted to the YouTube channel so that everybody can watch it again if you'd like. And you're welcome. I'm happy to do it. And hopefully that gentleman who had sound problems can just watch it on YouTube. I'll shoot him an email. So you guys have a great night, and stay safe. Bye-bye.